postpone or cancel. Of course, the T's and testing starts at 8, but they're already swabbing. As you know, people usually show up early and line up for that.
Yeah, and Civil Defense actually did just send a WhatsApp to all of us in the media, and they said there is going to be a heavy weather briefing with the latest at 12 o'clock today, so we're going to carry that on our Facebook page as well.
Thank you. Right on. 7:43, it is Thursday, September 23rd. There was earthquake. Well, according to Landon and our comments, Sula Marie de Jesus, here in Aston, we had an earthquake this morning, and then, of course, Chris Cave down at the port. Customs Chief Ike Peredo now in the KUM News Zoom room. Good morning, Chief.
Good morning.
How are you guys doing there? Good morning. Good morning, morning. Chief, let's just go ahead and start with this surge. We're like week 8 of it. How has it impacted or affected the operations of Guam Customs? Have you had any staff infections or had to quarantine any officers?
Well, actually, we're doing good up here at the agency, Christian. Thank you for that information. As of last week, we had 2 of our employees that tested positive, but other than that, everybody's back. I don't have anybody on isolation right now, and I'm hoping that trend will stay within the next few weeks. So we're doing good.
Oh, that's good to hear, Chief. Can we talk on the seizures? I know whenever we get you on, we like to find out exactly how much drugs you took in from the bad guys.
Well, let me say that for this calendar year, we've been seeing an increase in the seizure of methamphetamine. Again, as what we reported last year when we closed the calendar year for 2020, we did report that a total of 110 pounds of meth was seized at the borders. To date, between January to present, we have already recorded over 130 pounds of meth that was seized at the borders. And I would say again, 90% of the seizures are coming from the post office. And other than that, I'm thankful for the support of my drug detector dog team. They've been working real hard in trying to make sure that we prevent and deter the importation of meth into our island. Let me just say that just for this particular year, the drug detector dog unit recorded approximately 66 hits for methamphetamine and roughly about 41 hits for marijuana that are coming in. Although marijuana is legal from a medical standpoint here in Guam, we're seeing that marijuana shipments are still coming in through the postal system, and we're working on that. So I want to thank my drug detector unit and my K9 team for their outstanding support in this matter, and they've been working real hard to ensure that we prevent this illicit drugs from coming in.
Chief, what type of marijuana are they trying to ship into the island? Is it just straight up the cannabis buds, or are we seeing different products?
Well, it's mostly cannabis that are coming into the mail, and the question that we ask is that why would they continue to ship in marijuana? And they're saying that it's cheaper to ship in marijuana rather than to grow it. So I guess that's the reason why we're seeing the increase in seizures at the post office of marijuana shipments.
They should just learn how to grow the good one here. It's legal.
That's true.
There was a release out of the port, Chief, where the board had praised the general manager and the port for their, quote, commitment to customs. It was a release that was came out yesterday out of the Port Authority of Guam. The port board in their monthly meeting heard from General Manager Roy Respicio as he discussed the recent memorandum of understanding signed by the port and Guam Customs in quarantine regarding the new office space for Guam Customs at the port. There's a quote here. As the first line of defense for the island of Guam, Customs is tasked with protecting borders, securing ports of entry, and facilitating trade, commerce, and travel. We acknowledge the need to have customs personnel physically present at the seaport of entry to minimize the opportunity for compromised security, increased contraband smuggling, and unwanted tampering of containers and cargoes. And then there's a whole, well, it's a couple pages, and they just basically talk about all all the great things they've done to support customs, including granting you guys an all-access pass to go wherever is necessary to carry out your mandates. You didn't already have an all-access pass?
Well, actually, if you recall, we had some challenges in the past where customs was restricted. But let me assure you that since this administration came in, they have given us the alternative to move wherever we want within the waterfront. And I thank the port manager. He's been very, very resourceful to us. He's an individual that is very concerned with what we're doing down there, our objective, and making sure that we understand and we work together in moving commerce to the port. We've also had a lot of support from his team down there to include providing us a bigger office space to accommodate the needs of our officers. And I'm thankful for that. So the general manager has been very supportive to our needs, and I thank him for his continued support in this matter. And I look forward to continue working with him.
Chief, it sounds like they're really, giving you guys the tools you need to do the job. So let's talk about the job. How much the drugs have you guys found down at the port now that you have this great partnership with them?
Well, we're still trying our best. We're looking at all our opportunities down at the port. Like our K9 team has been present down at the port on a weekly basis, and hopefully that we will continue that. We continue to review our manifests. We have a special team that have created the Customs Special Enforcement Team for Maritime to also assist the line officers down at the port in reviewing all the cargo shipments that are coming in, reviewing the port arrivals, and working with the port security insofar as maintaining accountability of all the goods that are being moved from the port out into the community. So we're trying our best, and hopefully that we will succeed.
Wait, so how much drugs did you guys seize down at the port?
To date, I can tell you that we haven't seized any drugs at the port other than just Mayor, we had an alert down at the port last week with one of our detector dogs, and we came across paraphernalia on some of these vehicles that were being imported, especially privately owned vehicles. So that's where we're at with drugs at the port.
What kind of paraphernalia?
Methamphetamines, pipes that were found inside vehicles.
Like, are they?
Other than that, that's not the only thing.
Chiefs, are you talking about they're smuggling in like brand new crack pipes in these vehicles, or are you talking about someone smoked ice and they left it in the vehicle?
Yes, probably somebody smoked ice, left it in their vehicles, and then shipped that vehicles to Guam.
Wow. So I know we had you on last year, and I mean, everybody says that it's the ports of entry, right? And so you are getting some of the drugs coming in through the post office, but it's just amazing to me that you guys haven't had any seizures down at the port. Like, do you honestly believe that means that there are no drugs coming in, or are they just smarter than you guys?
No, I'm not going to say that. We're still trying. I'm working with the other law enforcement agencies to include my federal counterparts in trying to identify some of the leads that we can move on down at the port. And so far, we haven't had none.
Can you go back to the post office seizures? Can you walk us through, sir, when you guys, like, let's say you get a package, you have the drug detector dog, he smells the package, oh, that smells like the chronic, and you guys open it up and you find stuff in it. What happens after that in terms of the prosecution, who gets involved, what do you guys do with the stash and all that?
Well, what happens is that when our K9 dogs screen the mail and alert on a particular parcel, then the task force officers and the postal inspectors that are assigned at the post office will request for a warrant, and that particular alert is turned over to the postal inspector, and then from there they work it through, and of course there's a lot of follow-up investigation. And let me just say this, that a lot of this seizures that we're making at the post office are non-mediable. And so that's why you won't hear anything about it, because it takes a lot of follow through and follow up investigation.
Right. Yeah. Usually, sir, how long do you think some of these follow up investigations can run?
That all depends. That all depends. It can run up to 2 years, and you see a lot of these cases that are coming out of the courts. If they mention something about the post office, then that's part of those arrests that were made during that particular time.
Is there any like award that we can win since we have like the cleanest port? I mean, are there like awards like that where all the ports in the world are like, hey, we haven't had any drugs found here in like X amount of days? Maybe that's more of a port question.
No, that's a legal question, and I think I can answer that, because that once that thing is turned over to the judicial system, then they run the process.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so it sounds like you guys are working hard. I know that you wanted to get more canine dogs, right, Chief? And we talked last time. There were some issues with bringing them in because of the flight restrictions or whatever. Have we made any progress on that?
Well, the last time I talked to you about that is that there was a moratorium on the transportation of working dogs.
Yeah.
And up to this point in time, we're still working with the carriers to assist us in trying to acquire the 4 detector dogs that we're looking forward in purchasing. And hopefully we've communicated with United Airlines insofar as when they can lift the ban on moving working dogs. And at this point in time, there's no update on that. But hopefully, I'm looking at in the near future that we can move on with that, because we need the 4 additional dogs.
4 additional. So how many do you have now?
We have 5.
5. And so in a perfect world, 9 is exactly what you need to really do the job done?
Well, I'm looking at 12 at least. 12.
What about new officers, sir? Did you guys graduate some? I thought I saw something on that.
Well, actually, what happened is that there were 3 officers that did not graduate with the 11th cycle. So what happened is that the 3 officers, upon recruitment, received orders, military orders for deployment, and that process took almost a year, because the 3 officers were deployed and their training was delayed. And then what happened is that when they got back from deployment in the early 2020, COVID-19 was upon us. So again, further delays on that. Remember, we had a shutdown, so the officers had to prolong the training days. And finally, when we opened up, we managed to put them through the Criminal Justice Academy to include our technical training within the organization. And finally, they've completed the training that's mandated by law. And we graduated the 2. We still have 1 more that is still on deployment. And hopefully that we can graduate that officer sometimes in April next year.
Are you having the same difficulty in retaining your officers that the other law enforcement agencies in the government of Guam are having?
Yes, that's true. Just like the police department, and it's sad to say that just within the last week or so, I had to sign 3 resignations. 3 of my officers are leaving. 1 is leaving to the and is going to the Attorney General as an investigator. The other 2 are canine handlers. Sad thing about it, but we just lost 2 canine handlers. Very, very supportive individuals for our mission, but they opted to accept a job with the U.S. Customs Service, U.S. Customs Border Patrol. And so yes, we have that challenges within our agency in losing our officers. And just yesterday, I was listening to the chief of police, who mentioned that even the police department too are also losing officers through this particular time. And what can we say? We can't compete with the federal government from my standpoint, because that's where a lot of my officers are heading to. Of course, we invest on a lot of these officers, put them to the academy, and that's all they need. Within 5 years, they can acquire all the experience that's needed to move on to CBP and get higher pay. So, and the challenge with that is we need to work out something within law enforcement to increase the pay of these officers so that we can retain them.
Wow, sir, so you lost 2 canine handlers. How many canine handlers did you have?
Right now, I have 5 canine handlers.
So you had 7, now you only have 5.
Mhm.
And is that a major impediment to the operations? Because it sounds like the drug detector dogs, it's a big part of why you're able to bust so many bad guys.
Well, we just have to tailor our operation and make sure that we utilize whatever resources that we have. But we will continue to manage with the 5 until we can acquire the additional handlers for this particular operation. And
Right.
yes, I am looking forward in recruitment. I've met with the governor and requested that I would like to see at least 30 officers for the next fiscal year.
Wow. Are you guys getting any American Rescue Plan funding, sir?
Well, I haven't had a confirmation on that. I don't know the amount that we're getting, but hopefully soon. And I look forward to that.
And then just going back to the port, you guys had, there was an incident last week, an inspection where you found drug paraphernalia in privately owned vehicles being shipped into the island. Was it just one crack pipe, sir, or was it a
Yes,
few?
that's just one.
Okay. And then before we let you go, on a good note, can you recap the seizure numbers from Guam Customs at the post office again?
Okay, to date, we have seized approximately over 130 pounds of meth.
And sorry, sir, this is for calendar year 2021?
This is for calendar year 2021.
Okay, start over.
And we have 3 more months left
Yeah.
to end the.
Okay, so calendar year 2021, what have you guys seized from the post office?
131 pounds of meth, over 131 pounds, and approximately 161 pounds of marijuana.
Any other drugs, pills?
No, that's about the only thing that I can say right now.
Well, good job. Thank you, Guam
Thank you.
Customs, for getting 100.
Thank you for having me on board.
Thank you, Chief. All right.
Thanks.
We'll see you. Always good to see you.
Bye.
Esta. Okay. Hey, it's 8 o'clock. Wow. Where's the time go? Very eventful morning. We got more on the weather. Plus, we're going live out to the Infusion Center